So plenty of uncertainty in the oil outlook, and here to give us his reading of the market is Drollas. He's Deputy Executive Director and Chief Economist at the Center for Global Energy Studies. Thanks so much for coming in. Good to see you. So do you see signs that the price of oil has risen too quickly?
Well, it certainly has risen quite quickly, but it'll carry on being high because there's a lack of of enough oil, despite what Saudi Arabia says. There's been a stock draw for the last 3 quarters, and that has brought stocks down globally, not in the United States so much, but globally, to a certain level, so things are tight.
Yeah, so you're saying that the general trend, despite what we're hearing from Saudi Arabia and indeed the OPEC Secretary General saying that, hey, you know, there are no new buys for oil, that the general trend is for the market to move higher?
I think so. It could move a little bit higher, depending on, of course, the demand for oil. That we're heading into the driving season in the United States, and in Europe, the summer season travel. So it could be a little bit tighter too.
How serious is the risk of further supply shocks from geopolitical risk in the Middle East?
Well, there always is. It's gone quiet, as you know, but there's trouble bubbling away in the Yemen, in Syria. The Yemen, of course, is an oil producer. It's lost some production there. But the big one, of course, is the eastern provinces of Saudi Arabia, and they're quiet for the moment, and they look like being so. So there isn't a worry there.
Is that a mistake? Are some elements in the markets underestimating the level of risk?
No, I don't think so. But Libya is a problem. As we all know, there's a civil war going on, which will last for some time. There's like a stalemate, and of course, there's no oil to speak of coming out. And the rest of OPEC, led by Saudi Arabia, have not really covered that loss of Libyan oil fully. And that's where the market is at the moment.
We seem to be seeing this sort of confusion about where the price of oil could be heading. You know, we've got some people saying, well, one scenario is that we'll see further disruptions to supply from the situation in the Middle East. And then I guess the other scenario is that weaker demand will actually pull prices down. Do you think that we'll see prices rise further before they come down? I guess more volatility in the year ahead.
We'll certainly see volatility. You're right, I think. We will see further rises before we see the reaction coming from the demand side, and that's usually the case. Demand does take time, but already in the United States, the price of gasoline has gone above the iconic $4 a US gallon, and that's the time when the US driving population begins to really take notice. So we will see some reactions coming through.
What do you think that means for the recovery, global recovery in the Western world, for consumers, for companies?
Well, oil has played a role in the uptick in inflation we've seen also in the developing world, but also in the developed world. And this is a worry. Interest rates have been kept low so far. Only the ECB has raised rates slightly. But the United States, they should have a rate increase, but they haven't yet. We'll have more of the same so far, but inflation will cause interest rates to rise eventually, and that'll slow down the global economy.
And just a quick one, Leo, how high do you think we'll go in the next 6 months?
The price could go, up into the high, the mid-30s, I'd say, depending on, of course, on what happens, but it could be mid-30s.